a lot of people my age who are right out of like high school or in the middle of college, um, we have like a lot of options to us, but the problem is that, we can be anything, but we aren't anything,
Yeah.
And I guess my first question would be, how did you know that this path as a musician was right for you when other options were available?
Well, when I was right out of high school and in college, I didn't know that. Everyone's trying to figure out their lives during those years. I think with music, it was, I started playing music while I was in high school. So it was always a part of what I did, but I didn't know that it could be a career. It was just like, playing with friends and doing whatever. And then in college, I went to Cal State, Long Beach for 1 semester in the music program there. And I think that was the pivotal point because I was, in orchestra and doing some things that were music related, but not what I wanted to do. And then, as years passed, then I realized what it meant to do that as a career and actually, making a living doing it.
You don't love me, darling, the way you say you do.
So could you take us through the early days and formation of Robert Jon and The Wreck? So what was it like taking that leap from, obviously everyone is probably, saying, oh, just go to college, right? That's kind of just the path that you're supposed to take.
Supposed to take, yeah.
So what was it like taking that leap, going from, the path that kind of the world would set for you to what you really wanted to do?
There's all that pressure from family. If you go to college and get a degree, that means you get a job. And that's that's like, the normal thing to do. But in the career that I wanted, being a musician, it's not always the case. I mean, you go to college to meet people and network. Not really, the degree doesn't really get you, that job, per se. So it was, I think it was harder for family than it was for me. But, it's just, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I knew that if I didn't start doing it now, or at that time, second semester of college, I knew that I wouldn't ever do it. So I decided, I can always go back to college. But if I didn't take that leap and start going on tours and just only focusing on music, then I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. So it's just kind of taking that risk and just feeling it in your bones and knowing that like this is the path that I want to go down.
Yeah, how did you all come together? Especially like
the band?
Yeah,
in the early stages, it was just me. It was just the Robert Jon band, and then kind of got a group of guys who were writing together and working together, and sacrificing their lives as well to do things. So we wanted to just to be more of a band, which is why we created Robert Jon and The Wreck. I met our drummer Andrew, who's been in it since day one, at Citrus College, in that songwriting program that I went to out there. He was a friend of a friend, just kind of always around. And then the rest of the guys, just meeting people with the same mindset and views and just wanting to play music. So I met Steve a couple years after I met Andrew, who's our keyboard player.
Yeah, I remember Steve.
Yeah, and then the guitar player and bass player we have now just joined a little over 3 years ago. Yeah, you find the right people with the right mindset, and it's easier said than done.
Connections are important. And
yeah,
like you said, you met some people in college. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Meeting people is everything for the music industry.
Because you're mostly all of you are mostly self-made, right? Like you don't have any overseeing publisher or anything.
No, we do it all ourselves. We're still DIY, and we've done it so long that we've figured out all these different avenues of things. So we're our own publisher, we're our own PR agent, you know. We were our own booking agent for a while, until we got one, because the booking agent's really crucial for a lot of things. A lot of festivals only work with certain people, and it's just a different level of professionalism to be represented by someone, opposed to, you know, cold calling people. Hi, I'm in a band. But I mean, I did that for years, you know, and you still get great opportunities that way. But yeah, we're pretty self-sufficient as a band, for most of the bands out there.
Can somebody tell me what's going on when all that I see is wrong?
So this year is the 10th anniversary of your band, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And so I wanted to ask about how, with anything that a person does, whether it be, you know, having a band or just trying to make it in any career, comes a lot of self-doubt or just negative thoughts about their content that they're making. So I was wondering how you and your band have dealt with these things to keep motivated and just keep going, because 10 years is a long time for a band.
Yeah.
Together.
You know, it just, if you love it and you know it's what you want to do, it's easy to push through the doubt and push through the rejection and push through the times where you don't know if rent's going to be paid or not. It's a lot easier to push through when you believe in something and when you're passionate about it, opposed to when you're not. And I think that's what gets us through, and why we're still here. Every year we get new opportunities, and we see it, the career, the potential to go up and up. You know, if we were ever stagnant, that would be a problem. So I always like to say, like, as long as we keep going up the ladder, one rung at a time, maybe we skip like two, you know, as long as we keep going up, then I think that's the success in what we do. But if we're ever stagnant or we start going down the ladder, that's when we have to be worried about it. And that's when you either need to push harder or, you know.
And you kind of just try and focus on the ladder rung you're on, right? Just the next one, take it one at a time.
Yeah, you're always reaching for that next rung, but if you're not if your feet aren't stable for where you are and secure, then you can never get to that next one. So you always want to look ahead, but always want to make sure that where you are, you're not slipping and you're not moving backwards.
Do you have any advice for musicians on campus who are maybe sitting on the fence about a music career or forming a band?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to form a band, and it's easy to go play a show at a birthday party or at a bar next door. Mm-hmm. And if anyone's even thinking about it, then they should just do it, because that's, you know, you're not sacrificing much to just go play music with friends, no matter where you are. And everyone who wants to be a musician should be doing that and do it no matter what. And when it comes to doing it as a career, it's all about making sure you take all the opportunities that are given to you. And you're going to have to make risky moves that you're not sure about, and you're going to get rejected from everyone. But if you really want to do it, just keep your feet firm and just keep moving forward, and things will slowly come. No one's guaranteed anything. And if you play a couple shows, or if you go up to LA and play in front of, you know, some big wig in the industry, doesn't mean shit. You just have to keep going, and you just have to keep playing and perfect who you are and how you play, and always be working on yourself, and things will come to you, opposed to going for things when you're not even personally ready for them. Yeah, and it's everything. I mean, music's just my, thing that I do, but that all goes for everybody, whether you're going into film or whether you work at a restaurant. You know, if you want to be the manager of the restaurant, but you're a shitty server, you're never going to be the manager. You know, you got to be a good hostess to get that serving job, and you got to be a good server to get that manager job. It's the same thing for everything, you know.
Actually, you know, my mom had a magazine of you, and I read the article about you, and you're talking about how you, when you first started, you were just some guys in a van driving around trying to get gigs. So
yeah, I mean,
gotta start somewhere.
We weren't making any money. We literally just went on the road just because that's what we thought we needed to do.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a band, the next step, you go on tour. But we didn't know what that meant. We just got in a van and started playing, you know, shitty shows throughout the United States, and got home with no money and ate cold chili out of a can. But that was what we needed to feel. We needed to feel accomplished, and that was like the first step in that.
Do you think that touring just in a van, you called it a ragtag tour, was how important do you think that was to just the development of it all, really?
I think it was crucial into what we do now.
Yeah.
Not only are you creating camaraderie with your bandmates, which is something that, you know, living out of a van and driving from here to Seattle to Boston to Mississippi and back, if you guys aren't close when you started, you're going to be close after that. So it's getting out of that comfort zone. And when you do it with bandmates, everyone goes through it together. So that way, when you move forward, you all appreciate, you know, the opportunities that we have been given and honored by them, opposed to expecting them.
Yeah. So I feel like this has been going pretty well, but the next part is we're just going to do some rapid fire questions.
Cool.
Just a few.
I had coffee. I'm good. I'm awake.
Yeah, good. You're up to speed. Favorite band?
Right now, the Rival Sons.
Favorite song of yours?
Spanish Moon by Little Feat.
Favorite song that you've created?
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know if I've ever been asked that question in all the interviews. I guess the most recent song, the most recent album that we put out is called Last Light on the Highway. Mm-hmm. And there's a song on there called This Time Around.
Yeah.
Which I think is just one of my favorite pieces. Yeah, I would say that.
Is there any particular reason why?
It's just personal, and I just think that the words that I wrote down I still look back on them to remind myself of how to be a better person and a better man, and you know, treating people with respect, and it's just like a, you know, kind of a mantra. So
the best place that you've played at?
The Irving Plaza in New York City.
Any funny stories from your tours?
Appropriate stories?
Preferably.
Our car broke down in the middle of Utah, and at that time there was no cell service there, so we decided we need to walk back, you know, 2 miles to the rest stop that we saw to use the payphone. So we're walking back. This couple with 2 kids pulled over on the side with a minivan, said, "Hey, do you need a ride to the rest stop?" Sure. Got a ride to the rest stop. Super nice people. I was on the phone with AAA, and the guy behind me overheard me, and he just happened to have a tow truck at the rest stop, and he just happened to be going the same direction that we needed to go. So we hopped in his car. He towed the van to the next town over. This is where it gets fun. A car broke down right behind us at the same place, and he added him to the tow line, so he's towing him up the hill, and he didn't have enough space in the car for the whole band, so the guy behind us that broke down has 3 of the guys and 2 of the guys in the other car. Now it's a Sunday in Utah, so a lot of mechanic shops are closed. So this guy's driving into town. He's like, I don't know where to send you, but I can get you here. The guy that we're towing in the back with the other guys just happens to have a friend with a mechanic shop and just happens to call him and see if he's there. So he's comes running. We get there. The mechanic doesn't know how to fix it. His 16-year-old son comes in and says, have you tried hitting the catalytic converter with a hammer? Hits it with a hammer, and we're off and running. But the only reason that could have happened is because of, you know,
Yes.
10 different people just decided that they wanted to help us out for
It's all
no
there at the
other
right
reason.
time.
Yeah, and it was just that story still goes down in the books as just one of the craziest,
Yeah.
you know, circumstances, and you see the good in people, which oftentimes on the news or anything you always hear about the negative stuff, but
Yeah.
there's still tons of people out there that are doing the same thing that they did for us years ago.
Well, that's it for the questions. Do you have any last things you want to say to anyone?
I mean, I think I think you covered it. But if anyone out there, you know, is trying to figure out what they're trying to do, just always go toward what you feel inside and what you love doing, because that's never gonna get you down. So that's what I would say.
Well, thank you for being here, and I will stop recording.